what were you telling Rebecca about the process and how long you thought it was going to take and looking over that next month?
Yeah, so I knew based on my initial review of the case, two things were true, indisputably and without a doubt. The first thing that I knew was true was that Jonas was entitled to the relief he was seeking. He was eligible for the benefit that they had requested and that they had been denied. The second thing that I knew was true was that USCIS already had all of the information they needed to reach that same conclusion. So what we needed to do was sort of a multi-pronged approach. We needed to turn up the heat on USCIS for them to understand the importance of this case and this family, that it was just not another nameless, faceless pile of paperwork. The other thing we needed to do was remind them that they had made the mistake, that this was an error in their process and not the fault of the Hubleys or this innocent child. And the other thing we needed to do was make sure that the record was 100% clear on their entitlement to the benefit. So we were able to do that pretty quickly. I mean, the most compelling piece of evidence that I believe exists in this file is that Jonas entered on a medical visa, and a medical visa is a richly documented piece of paperwork. So there are all sorts of medical records and financial capacity records and who's going to sponsor and where's he going to live and what's his prognosis. And they did that for 3 years. So USCIS knew from the moment he set foot on US soil and for the next 3 years exactly where he was and exactly who was caring for him and exactly what his medical needs were. So to come back to the Hubleys and say, you need to prove that he's lived with you for 2 years when they had all of that evidence already in their records from 15 years ago was, a fairly significant oopsie on their part. And we just needed to remind them of that and get them back to work. And because we only had really a few days to get this done, it wouldn't happen unless we had external resources applying pressure. And so what I said to Rebecca at the very beginning was, if you run the normal course of a case with USCIS without sort of extraordinary intervention, you are looking at a process that is likely to take another 9 to 18 months to complete. So will you be approved? Absolutely. Will you be approved in time for Jonas to become a US citizen? I doubt it. And so that's going to require a miracle, frankly, in order for this to happen before his 18th birthday, which is upon us. And so I did the legal work and she moved the mountain. I mean, she just found that to be unacceptable and continued to raise the profile of this case and ask for the help of anyone who would listen. And so I give her all the credit in our enormously successful, application.
So the application, I know she sent it in, I think it was like what, Monday, and she like took videos of it and was all like, everything is here. Go ahead and talk to me about when you knew that the application had been approved and what it was like to finally tell Rebecca.
Oh, it was great. So we shipped everything out on Monday afternoon for early morning delivery Tuesday morning, and we were all sort of compulsively hitting that refresh button, waiting to see when it had been delivered. And when it was delivered, I notified my contacts at USCIS, as they had requested I do, so that they could go to the mailroom and find it. Because in the normal course, things can sit in the mailroom for a couple of weeks before it might reach the officer's desk, and we didn't have a couple of weeks. So they went and found it, and I think by 2 p.m. in the afternoon, the same day it was received, I received an email that it was approved. And Rebecca and I have maintained really close contact via text and email and phone calls, since early December, because we are trying to move a mountain. And so when I saw the email come across and it was addressed to the two of us, and I didn't hear from her for about 20 minutes, I knew that she wasn't seeing the email. And so I thought I better call her. And I called her and said, "Hey, Rebecca, have you seen your email?" And she said, "I'm being interviewed right now." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, your case is approved, but I'll let you go." And then she, of course, was overwhelmed with relief and joy, and then followed by just outrage that her family's been subjected to this unnecessary race.
So, has any of your other cases been this type of race where you've gotten that result before the 18th birthday?
Um, we listen. I have enjoyed the good fortune of um, great results for many of my clients. I have never had a same day process. I mean, she really made a miracle happen. Um, and that miracle consisted of White House involvement, Congressman involvement, Senator Todd Young was involved, the media. I was reaching out to every connection I had in the US government. She was reaching out to every connection she had anywhere in the world. I mean, we were doing everything we could. So this is really extraordinary. I've never had a case move this quickly. But I've also never had a client do the needful in this way. I mean, she benefited from putting out a story that really resonated with people. I mean, she was able to make it go viral and gain traction in that way. And, um, what I have said to her and what I've said to many families is it shouldn't take that. It shouldn't take that to get the right result for adopted children, but it often does. And I think this particular case sort of highlights, we can all celebrate that Jonas is safe and that their family is now sort of able to finally rest knowing that they don't have to fight anymore. But there are thousands of other kids and families who are still fighting and just haven't had the good luck and good fortune that the Hubleys enjoyed in this. And it shouldn't be disparate outcomes based on whether your story went viral.